All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh no.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Maybe I did.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Oh really? What if I don't?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yeah, bro, you can hear the sass in his voice now. And
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
yeah,
I
you say
realize that
that.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
No, it's been about
There's
you
someone
telling
you've
me
been
what to
neglecting,
do.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Leave me
I'm
alone.
not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
I don't care.
To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Nope.
She's been waiting.
It's my world, bro.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one
Fuck
to
that
do this.
bitch, bro.
To
Get
reach
me
out
out.
to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I'm gonna plug this phone out, bro. Get this bitch out of the wall, man. Oh, I probably could have plugged it out. Okay. I didn't press
Oh,
X.
Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Fuck
Oh,
you, man.
come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
I
Who'd want to
didn't.
commit their life to you? I'm
No.
trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying
know
to
you're
get you to
messing with
see
me.
something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Oh.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
See? I knew it.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that
I'm still
demands nothing
following
of
this
him,
bitch.
and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
No. Press something else. Can't do nothing.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now
boy.
he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the
Because of
earth.
you.
The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
He said it! He said it!
It was such a wonderful fantasy,
You
and
can
so in
eat,
his
bro.
head
You
he
talk a
relived
lot.
it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
I'm about just...
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always
You
has.
just keep
Nothing
talking.
has changed.
You
The
just
longer he
keep
spends
talking.
here, the more invested he gets.
No,
the
I'm
more he
not, bro.
forgets which life is the real one.
I just want to stop hearing you talk.
And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world, he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
You know what?
You see? Can he
I'm
just
on
not
board.
hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Now, push the button now. See how long it takes.
Not questioning nothing. I can't do nothing.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well,
You
maybe
have
this time he'll
serious
see.
problems, bro.
Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Pushing
And I
every
tried-
button. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so this is just...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay. What do you do with this now?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Turn on them bitches on. Oh. Damn, bro. 360. Bringing 360 no scope to a whole another level.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't
some
be
people
true.
got fired.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
2 people
Was this
got
the only
fired.
reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Yeah,
It
I
was
hope you have
unthinkable.
having fun with
Wasn't
my
it?
life, bro.
Was it even possible? Had he truly
Stanley's
spent
life.
his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Alright. Oh, fuck some shit up then. Business off.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
So, my last recording was me beating the game. I only just the last clip you saw was just me clicking the end mind control button. That's what I did. After that, my whole recording just ended. What I wanted to do after that was go back and press no and see what happened. So, see what kind of ending we get when we press no. Oh, you're good, bro. I think that's just a shout out to the developers for that. They really put time and effort in the game. This is where the recording ended. When I press off, it just opened up this screen and opened me into like a real world thing. And I will do that, but I want to see what this does.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yeah, let me get
Stanley,
control of you.
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun,
Oh.
isn't it, Stanley? It's
Run.
your time to shine.
I need to
You
go.
are the star.
I need
It's
to go.
your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all
There's a
this
door, there's a
means,
door.
I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers
No,
are?
you.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing
Try to
buttons
press the
endlessly
button.
and then dying alone. Other
Press
times,
1 and
I
press
let the
2,
office sink into the ground,
5.
swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though.
3.
This version of events has been rather amusing.
4 is up
Watching
here.
you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next
There we go,
go
gate
around
5.
will be even better.
Oh, I'm beating
My
you.
goodness, only 34
I am beating you.
seconds left.
You won't get this
But
belt,
I'm
boy.
enjoying this so much.
Yeah, enjoy
You know
this.
What? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock.
No, you
why
don't
not?
need to do that.
These are precious additional
5.
seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
What?
Oh, dear me. What's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
I
Or
hit.
did you just assume
I
when
hit
you saw
all
that
of them.
timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off?
Yeah, I
mean,
hit.
look at you.
I hit it.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game
Red
can be
button.
beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this
Or red
place is?
button.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to
What?
watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No
Bro, I
end
hit
game,
all 5
just you
buttons,
being
though.
blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another
Bro.
choice. Make it count, or don't. It's
I hit
the
all
same to
5
me,
buttons.
All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily
Yeah,
ever
I'm calling. It said new content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Okay. Guess we're going in the back rooms.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Nice.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Nice.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Okay.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Well,
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
if you say so. Oh,
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
okay. You're being really weird, my boy.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Gimme the content, Stanley. All right, let's see it.
The jump
circle?
Go fuck yourself. I'm not listening to you guys no more.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Wait. I think that's gonna put me back in a loop. Okay, don't put me in a loop.
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see.
Talk a lot.
I'm ready for whatever it is.
Sir fucking yaps a lot.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
We not friends, bro.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something! Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be?
You made
Well,
a
it got me
content
thinking
yourself?
about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Bro, I did not play your game. But I respect it though. You guys won awards. Audience Awards 2014. I mean, I think this is just the expansion Deluxe. It's just them paying tribute to the game itself. It's not really extra content. It's just, celebrating the Stanley Parable, all of its awards. Pretty cool, I can't lie.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
An hour? Is that Minecraft? Memory zone maintenance. Person of the year. All the buttons. These are codes behind the game. Wow, we got Squid Games in this bitch now. The greatest wealth is memory. It's gonna be memorable.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation, boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
That's what I figured. It's not really new content, it's really just the same game, but it's a tribute to everything that it's done.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait,
That's what you want to
hang
do.
on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's
Or
this? What's down
reviews.
here?
Oh,
no,
this
God,
won't be
no,
the
Stanley.
bad.
It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized
Yeah.
Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
It's gonna be
Surely
the
these
bad
reviews were
part.
glowing as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh, dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure.
So
Like
I
I let these
think,
people
bro,
down.
if you just don't like the
Perhaps
game,
the
bro, just
Stanley Parable
go
isn't
play a
quite as sterling
Fortnite or
as I've
something,
always
man.
remembered.
So these single player
What's this
games
one
are
got to
just
say?
dead.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening.
Yeah, I
I
got
wish there was a
annoyed.
skip button.
Of course
A
I got
skip
annoyed.
button. Well, yes.
Well, it's a
Yes,
part
I
of
think
the
we can do
game, man.
that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this.
The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture.
Oh, you're back, you see? You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to.
Oh, you're gonna
again.
die. He gonna
Stanley,
die. Oh,
I think it's
you're
been
gonna
a week.
die.
Or 2 weeks. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had
You're not
time
dead
to
yet?
think about you and about...
Please die. Please die. I think he's dead. I think I'm free. Well, he's dead.
But they didn't understand the game
The
was
fuck?
never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their...
How are you still alive, bro?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Yeah, he tweaking, he tweaking, he tweaking, he tweaking. Get me out, get me out. Okay, wait. Everything's broken. Oh, I think the building is deteriorating. Nice. Just need the walls to get breaking down now. Oh. Oh, now I'm free. I think that might be the end. Yeah. Is it?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah, that's
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, let me just do a clip of the actual ending. Then if there's anything else I missed.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.